Hello ladies and gentlemen and gender non-binary students. Hope you enjoyed my singing, because I did not. If you didn't understand what just happened, the show Friends is an American television sitcom and it focuses on 6 friends named Ross, Rachel, Joey, Phoebe, Monica, and Chandler. They all live in New York City in their 20s and 30s, surviving the hardships of life and relationships together. On the surface, this show seems like an easygoing show, but underneath it portrays how women can have more leadership roles in the workplace, and unfortunately uses important topics such as toxic masculinity and sexism as part of their humor. A good thing about Friends, despite it being placed in the 90s, is that the show doesn't shy away from women being promoted to a higher position in a workplace environment. For example, in Season 5, Episode 17, Rachel was able to be hired in Ralph Lauren, a fashion business. Later in the series, she is able to become an executive with her own office and assistant.
I made a huge fool of myself, and I came back. That shows courage. When I thought you wanted sex in exchange for this job, I said no. That shows integrity. And I was not afraid to stand up for myself, and that shows courage. Okay, now I know that I've already said courage, but you gotta have courage. And finally, when I thought you were making sexual advances in the workplace, I said no, and I was not litigious.
I may regret this, but I'm going to give you a shot.
It shows how women are not just subjected to domestic roles. She's able to break the glass ceiling by her own efforts and personality, rather than having the interviewer give the job to another male or by her beauty. As Rachel said, "When I thought you wanted sex in exchange for this job, I said no." That shows integrity. It unintentionally shows women that in order to get good jobs and break the unofficial barrier in the workplace, women need to keep their integrity by doing it in the right way, which I think is an important lesson to take despite the laughter, because according to Gender Bias Without Borders, written by Stacy Smith, it states that in films, if a character has a job in politics or business, men are more likely to be chosen. For example, in films, 90.9% of lawyers, 95% of judges, and 85.2% of doctors were played by males. So making the decision for Rachel to get a job in a business or for an actress to play a bigger role as a working woman is a step towards changing the statistics. However, after rewatching Friends, a big issue in the show is toxic masculinity and the sexism. An example of toxic masculinity is in Season 3, Episode 4, when Carol, Ross's ex-wife, drops off their son who is holding a Barbie doll. Ross lies and says he's fine with it, but then he tries to take it away.
Give Daddy the Barbie. Okay? Give Daddy the Barbie. Okay, how about, don't you want to play with a monster truck? No? Okay. Ooh, how about a dino soldier?
What is wrong with the boy playing with the doll? Nothing. When he tries to force Ben to play with a dinosaur and a monster truck, it falsely claims that boys are supposed to play with more masculine toys, or otherwise they would become less of a man or gay. The laughter in the background makes it seem funny that Ross is trying to force his son to like another toy, but the effects are just as serious. Having people try to force their own ideals onto children is harmful and ignorant. Boys can grow up thinking that liking things that are labeled feminine is horrible and further spur toxic mindsets, when truly there is nothing wrong to like things that are traditionally masculine or feminine, because it is just a label. Also leading up to Season 3, Episode 15, Rachel gets a job at Bloomingdale's from a man named Mark she randomly met, so Ross becomes incredibly jealous of him. Then when Rachel was swamped at work, Ross barges into her workplace and distracts her, ultimately disrespecting her and her job. Then after work, he expects her to apologize.
No, but it would be nice if you'd realize that it's just a job.
Just a job?
Yes.
Ross, do you realize this is the first time in my life I'm doing something I actually care about? This is the first time in my life I'm doing something that I'm actually good at? I mean, if you don't get that...
Oh, hey, I get that, okay? I get that big time, and I'm happy for you, but I'm tired of having a relationship with your answering machine, okay? I don't know what to do anymore.
Well, neither do I.
Is this about Mark?
Oh, my God.
He shows off as being sexist because he believes that he should come first instead of her work. If there were a situation where if she had worked in the industry for a long time, Rachel could have taken a day off. But since it was her first new job where she liked what she was doing compared to when she was a waitress, it was very important for her and for Ross to make it about himself, and his jealousy was selfish and childish. Also, him bringing up Mark shows how little he cares for women, because he believes that women only care about men and nothing more. This unintentionally supports sexist ideology of how women are shallow and are supposed to be submissive and care for their partners first rather than their own priorities. Rachel fortunately sticks up for herself and doesn't listen to what Ross says, as she should, because his toxic behavior was the downfall of their relationship. Another sitcom that is comedic and a different storyline is Brooklyn Nine-Nine. The show tackles serious topics such as sexual assault in the workplace. When Amy was working on a case about sexual assault, she overworks herself so the victim doesn't have to lose everything. Jake Peralta, a goofy guy, and her husband, notices her being tired and stressed. Amy shares her story to Jake of being sexually assaulted by her captain when she was a rookie.
Ames, you've been working yourself to the bone on this case for 3 days straight. I'm starting to worry about you.
I have to solve this case, Jake. Otherwise, Carrie lost the settlement and the job that she loves because of me.
Every time I think I understand how bad it is, it's just way worse than I imagined.
This kind of stuff has happened to literally every woman I know. I just wanted to help make it better for this one woman.
Okay,
Wait, where are you going?
I'm gonna go get you a change of clothes and a coffee. We're not giving up.
Okay.
I think that's a great idea. I'll be right back. Oh, I'm also gonna grab a comb, but you don't have to use it unless you decide.
Okay, babe.
Despite it being a comedic show, it did not come off as hilarious, but rather serious. And then later on, Jake supports her and tries to help her, which in contrast to how Ross reacts to Rachel overworking on her job is very different. Because Jake listens to Amy's struggles and truly cares for her, whereas Ross gets into a fight with Rachel and tries to think it's because of her male coworker. Why is it so important? I enjoyed Friends, and I think it's hilarious and ahead of their times. However, the constant sexism and toxic masculinity in shows can be detrimental, because it can be viewed as okay and accepted, and we should work against that. With events like #MeToo and men making abortion laws for women, it is clear that sexism and men trying to control women's actions are still present today. So, television being a very influential media, we as a society must critique shows like Friends, so we know what to improve on in the future.